Alright, this is gonna be one of those videos which really flops in the algorithm, but that's okay because I like making these. So for the 24% of you who said that you would watch whatever video I put out, this is for you. No, I haven't quit my full-time job to do YouTube just yet. I can't afford that. I wish. Maybe that's a next year thing. And also, I am not leaving YouTube. This is not one of those thank you and goodbye videos that gets super popular, although maybe it will be, so who knows. Anyway, for those of you new to my content, this is actually my 3rd year on YouTube. Surprisingly for me, this is the most consistent I've ever been on YouTube. I have never been this consistent before. This is my 11th straight week of posting long form content, and I am very proud of myself for getting to this point. Anyway, so every few months I like doing these styles of videos, which is more of like a take a step back and just reflect on the YouTube channel, what my plans are, and also maybe a bit more about myself, because I don't really reveal a lot of details about my personal story in my other videos. So if this is interesting for you, this is the video to watch. So there's this one thought that I recently started thinking about. Even if I just stop making YouTube videos today, YouTube has already changed my life for the better. And here are 4 reasons why. Okay, so reason number 1 that YouTube has changed my life. I just picked up so many new skills, and I am just so much more confident in myself that I can do whatever I want as long as I put in the work. Let me explain. So with YouTube, I've been able to gain skills that I never had before. The actual production cycle of researching a video, scripting a video, filming it, editing it, publishing it, having a thumbnail, promoting it, and then sort of engaging in community, those are all very transferable skills that you can use in any workplace. It's almost like taking a degree in marketing or having a role as a marketing manager without actually doing it in your day job. And so for me, for example, in my day job, I work in a tech startup, a pretty small tech startup with not a lot of marketing resource. I sometimes step in and sort of help out with things like copywriting, editing videos, producing how-to videos for our customers. And it comes naturally to me because I've been making how-to videos for the past 3 years on YouTube. Also, because of this channel, I was able to finally this year get a few sponsors. Actually engaging with sponsors, figuring out how tax works, figuring out how to invoice people, figuring out what my sort of going rate is. Again, those are skills that I just developed on the fly running this YouTube channel. But most importantly for me, running this channel helped me discover my superpower, which is, as I sort of said at the start, figuring out that I can do anything as long as I really focus hard on it and just really put in the work. So in 2020, when I started this channel, it was just out of boredom during COVID, just like many of us who started channels in this point. My goal was to get monetized. And when I started, that was so impossible. You needed 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. But I did it somehow. Doing that where I had a goal and I worked really hard and I achieved it made me more confident to do it in other aspects of my life. So the next year in 2021, I was like, let's try to become a software developer, even though I've had no formal experience or training in coding. And I did that. In 2022, I was like, I'm sort of tired of tech startups that are just purely profit driven. I want to try and move into the climate tech sector. I did that 6 months later and I'm out in a climate tech role. So that all started because in 2020, I was able to start a YouTube channel and get out of my comfort zone and actually find some success in it. And that just gave me the confidence to do that in many other aspects of my life. The second thing that YouTube helped me with is actually making me comfortable in my own skin and being able to accept criticism and filter out hate. And those are actually 2 different things that I'll explain later. But at the start, this channel was actually very tough on my mental health. Imagine, like, I was starting up a YouTube channel, putting myself out there. Obviously, my first few videos sucked because everyone's first few videos suck unless you have a background in filmmaking or videography. And my niche was actually in the food space. My first channel name was PG Eats. And that was just because I loved eating, I loved cooking, I loved talking about food. And I was like, maybe people will actually watch this if I started talking about it. And I have a favorite supermarket. It's called Aldi. and it's in Australia and it's in other parts of the world. I was able to figure out that I could make a killer chicken sandwich with just the chicken schnitzel in Aldi, with some sauces from Aldi and the brioche buns from Aldi. So I made a video about it. And I was like, ooh, like, I'm sure there's a lot of raving Aldi fans in Australia. Why don't I join one of these Facebook groups and share my video with them? Big mistake, because Facebook groups are psycho. There are a lot of unstable people in there. Especially ones which have tens of thousands of users, like the Aldi fans group. So when I posted, I was like, hey guys, like, this is something I discovered in Aldi Australia. You can create a delicious chicken sandwich for just under $2. And I could not imagine the hate that would come my way. And you know why? It's because in Australia, a chicken sandwich is shredded chicken, mayonnaise, in 2 slices of white bread. The chicken sandwich that I know is the American definition of a chicken sandwich, which has 2 burger buns, or a set of burger buns, and fried chicken. Very small difference, I guess, because different languages, different cultures have different names for things. And because I was Filipino, I grew up with Americanized English. I could not believe the hate that I got from that post. There was this one dude, I remember his name. His name's If you're watching this, I don't even know why you're still watching me, but I guess my haters are also my biggest supporters. He doesn't have a proper profile photo because, again, he's probably just hiding behind a fake name. And he just trashed me. He was like, go back to your country, go back to America. I don't know why he thought I was American, probably because of my American accent. I tried to explain to him that, you know, I want to call it the chicken sandwich because the chicken sandwich was invented in the US, and therefore maybe the name of its originator is the correct name. And I tried to debate, and that's when I learned you shouldn't really debate about this stuff, especially when the person on the other end is not reasonable and isn't really providing any logic. So anyway, that really bothered me for a whole day. And this guy also proceeded to jump into my videos and comment some hate comments there. I'll actually post some screenshots because I find it funny now. But I did delete my original Facebook post because I was too mentally scarred from it. Anyway, that was my first hater. And that was around 20 subscribers into my YouTube channel. So imagine you have like one really loud hater among 20 subscribers who aren't really engaging with your content. That really screwed me up for a while. But I got over it eventually, and I just realized there are different types of negative comments. There are some which actually will be able to help you grow your channel because some of them are actually useful. And then there are some like this guy does who's just a bit of a hater and I should just ignore him. But yeah, long story short, I got better with actually accepting criticism. I got better with fielding unnecessary hate comments. And that's just translated into real life. Also, a big shout out to that guy who just randomly spewed hate out of nowhere. I'll just read it out loud. This is just a month ago, by the way, when I was already at maybe 2,000 subscribers. So I wasn't big, obviously, but I had achieved something up to that point. Anyway, he says, your way of interacting with your viewers is super cringeworthy and it means you won't make it as a YouTuber. Maybe if I read that a few years ago, that would really hit me. But now I just find it funny. And he's right. I haven't made it as a YouTuber just yet. And maybe I am cringe. But cringe is your superpower. I saw from some other video, so jokes on it. Anyway, if you're also watching this video, what are you still doing watching me if you spewed such hate on one of my videos? Don't understand people sometimes. All right, number 3, and this is going to get a bit more personal and slightly more emotional as we go. So just warning you there. But number 3 is me rediscovering my creativity with YouTube. Now, I didn't realize this until I sort of just reflected back on my childhood. But I grew up a pretty creative kid. I had drawing as my main hobby. I love to create content online. Like, I was one of those people with an illegally cracked copy of Adobe Photoshop CS1. And I just made signatures for forums. Not sure if people are old enough to remember internet forums, but you could have a signature below your posts, and it's usually like a very elaborately photoshopped photo. I'll actually show you some of my work here. I had a DeviantArt where I stored these ones, by the way. I even won 3rd place in a signature competition, which got me premium GG Client access. Shout out to people who remember GG Client. It's a very small number, a few people probably. I was also really into music. I played the guitar and I liked making videos. And for some reason, as I grew up, I'm not sure if it was like Asian parent expectations or my own expectations of myself, but I just strayed away from the creative side and focused more on quantitative skills. And that sort of carried over into my day job, where I've always taken on work which is more quantitative in nature, like analytics, engineering, product management. That's sort of my niche now at work. This channel has really allowed me to tap into that creative side that I didn't even really realize still existed. And now I love it. I love actually having a creative outlet where I don't need to sort of think about numbers and work in that same sense, but I can actually focus on making content that I enjoy making, and hopefully some people will enjoy watching. And who knows, maybe at some point I'll also pick up a pencil again and start sketching, or maybe just try to play the guitar again. But I think working in tech has sort of forced me to shun that side and just be super focused on like stats, metrics, growth, retention. But I actually still have some creativity left in me. So that was cool. The last and most impactful thing that YouTube has helped me with is helping me rediscover my voice. I grew up with ADD. And I don't know, I think I just had a lot of social anxiety growing up. When I was in school, I was always invisible. Like, I wasn't that type to, be the target of bullying, thankfully. But also I wasn't popular. So I was just in between. Like, average, I guess. And that just carried over into adulthood as well. Whenever I am in meetings, I'm always the last to speak up. I'm always the least confident person. And then I just get annoyed because these people who clearly have no idea what they're talking about are the loudest in the room. But because they're the most confident, they're usually the people to get their point across. And I'm just always like, whenever I leave a meeting, I'm like, I wish I had said that, or I wish I had spoken up. And this is feedback that my managers always give me as well. But I'm still not perfect at it. I think I'm getting better, and it's thanks to YouTube, because the fact that I have 2,100 subscribers means that 2,100 unique people all over the world thought that I was someone worth listening to. And this is gonna sound a bit sappy, but you have no idea how much that does to lift my confidence, because it actually means that people listen to what I have to say. Especially when I talk about some mundane problems like my phone addiction or my feet not fitting my shoes. It always just starts from a very personal thing of like, this is a problem that I've had. This is how I've coped with it. And maybe this will be helpful for someone else. And people actually watch it. And those are my most successful videos. So it does give me confidence that people listen to what I have to say. And that's just translating to different aspects of my life, because I've never thought of myself as exceptional. And it's a lot of it is in my head for sure. But that lack of confidence translates to how I talk about stuff at work. And ultimately that will affect things like my overall income and how much money I make in the future, and ultimately how I'm able to take care of my family. So the fact that I have this training ground almost in YouTube to be better on camera, be more confident, actually having people listen to me and finding my advice useful. Like, I've had so many awesome comments on my barefoot shoes video about how this was exactly the type of content they were looking for, or this, like, I made something that no one else was talking about. That to me is so uplifting. So thank you so much if you were one of those people who commented. Anyway, I know that was a bit of a ramble, but I really enjoy making these types of videos, even though they're not the most well-produced or well-scripted. And if you've actually reached this point, comment down below, because that means that you actually watch me for me as a person and not just the niche that I'm in. And that means so much to me, because that means that I can actually continue to just produce content that I love and content that I've experienced, rather than forcing myself into, say, buying 20 different flip phones, because I personally wouldn't find that interesting, even though that's what the algorithm is telling me to do.